Hello and welcome to the Geek Tech Show. In today's video, we're going to be doing a head-to-head between two different kind of cameras. The Sony RX100VII versus the Canon G5X Part 2. So, the battle of the twos. Which one is the camera that I like more and which one I recommend for you to use? And of course, I want to talk about both of those cameras. They're both sophisticated and great pieces of equipment. The biggest difference between the two right now is actually the price tag. Of a whooping $1,300 for this one. It might go down over time. Versus this one, which is just $800, $900 altogether. The biggest difference between those two is of course the weight as well. For paying twice as much, it is twice as less heavy. For paying twice as less, it's a little bit more heavy and bigger as well. So definitely you're getting more compact size over here too. And a few other things about both of those cameras is that they are both featuring super zoom. This one features only a zoom that goes all the way to 120. On the other hand, this one features a whopping 200mm zoom over here. So definitely this is the zoom king, whereas this one is not. The other big difference is the low light photography. This one right here is 2.8 to 4.5, not too bright. On the other hand, this is a super bright one, 1.8 to 2.8. This is amazing. So between those two, which one should you be picking for your needs? I do think that the Canon in itself, and we're going to go into a lot more in-depth review over here, is really all about taking pictures. The video camera comes in second. Sony is really a lot more about video taking. But between those two, which one should you get? Let's find out in this head-to-head video. If you did enjoy this video and you do like this channel, make sure you join it. Lots of cool things are also included. There's going to be a link right down below where you can sub. And in case you want to get anything that is featured in this channel, make sure you use the link below to give me a very small commission. And it keeps my channel active and encourages me to get even more amazing gear and do cameras reviews just for you. Let's get started. So this is a head-to-head comparison between the Canon G5X Mark II and the Sony RX100. This is the V2 version versus the V1. The big difference between them is the texture over here. You can see that this has a better kind of a more solid grip to it. This is totally slippery. I do think that in the long term this is actually, it looks better, yes, but in terms of practicality, this will more likely slip out of your hands versus this one is not. So this one is less about beauty of it, which this one is. This is definitely, I mean, the first thing that they went in when they made this, they were thinking about making it the best and the most beautiful kind of design when they built the camera. They were not thinking about ease of use, and they were not thinking about making this the best kind of camera when you hold in your hands. It is more about just the looks of it. On the other hand, Canon didn't really care about what people thought about how this looks, if it's ugly or not. It is more about practicality. So this texture, although it doesn't look the best looking one, it definitely makes it much easier for you to hold this in your hand and less slip resistant. Also this right here, although this is the ugliest part of this camera, it is also the most useful one because you can hold it like this and it makes it much more easy for you to hold it when you're taking a picture. And also to spin this around as well. Unfortunately, this does make this annoying sound and you can't get rid of it. Like in the old version in the G7X too, where you actually could get rid of this clicking sound. If you don't want a clicking sound, just go ahead and get this Sony. This doesn't have any sound, but at the same time you don't know how much you're moving it as well. So that's the bad thing about the Sony in itself. It doesn't have the grip, more likely to slip, and it's much harder for you to actually hold it. It's also a little bit small in size. If you're looking at both of them, this one is a little bit bigger. In fact, it has this thing sticking out as well. And this is also good when you're taking a picture. Most likely your thumb is going to be right there and you're going to be holding it. And here you can easily just go ahead and press on record. And it gives you an ability to do that. Also, what I really like about the Canon is that the plus and minus thing is all the way at the top, so you can easily do that. The Sony doesn't even have anything like it, and you can't even specify a function to do it, unless of course you specify the wheel in itself, and it's not available in all functions. I don't like using the wheel and programming everything in, which is a big thing about Sony. You have to get everything programmed all inside. There is a huge sophisticated menu that is available in this Sony. As you turn this on, I'm going to be comparing it how much it gets out. This one does get out. Look at the size of this thing. On the other hand, the Canon, twice as small, and now you're not going to even get it out at all. Oh yeah, there we go. That is the most it goes out. And then when you go back, it goes between those two. So you can see the difference. There is a little bit that goes in and out right here. But this is important because a lot of times when you're shooting, you don't want to have something this huge sticking out of it, especially when you're zooming into something. Understandable, this is 200mm versus this is just 100. So it does make sense why it actually does that. So when you zoom all the way out, it's like this, the same thing. But when you zoom in, this goes a little bit higher. And this goes a lot bigger. Now, between those two, I would say that the Canon in itself justifies for the name. This is a Canon. It's supposed to stick out. The Sony, not really. I wish this thing was a little bit small, if they could actually design it as such. Now, a few other things here. The flash, you just press on here and it just pops out. But you can accidentally press on this button too. This is the bad thing about the Canon. You can just slip right here instead of pressing on the flash. You press instead of pressing on the actual flash, you press on the long flash and it just pops out. On the other hand, with the Sony, you have to just go and move it to the side and it also pops out. Now, this one just moves up and down like this. So you can bounce it if you want off the ceiling. On the other hand, this one also moves too. Huh. Almost identical. Wow. Didn't expect that. Putting it back inside. Can you do it with one finger? Let's try. Yup. This one. Actually, this one is much harder. This one does give much more resistance than that one. They're almost the same thing too. Now, to get this thing out of here. Okay, this one is right on this side. So you put this down and it automatically just pops out for you and it's ready for you to be used. You don't need it, stick it back in, and this is the tricky one. See, you can't just pull it down like this. You have to actually put one of your fingers inside so it doesn't damage this, and then pull it down. Okay, it was done. On the other hand, this one right here, the Canon, well, you can't use it yet. You gotta go ahead, pop it, just like this. Now, when you want to put it back in, you pop it just back in and you press on it. I think the Sony has the most sophisticated one and it's easy and ready to use. Press on it, you're ready to go. And it just pops out. On the other hand, Canon two-step right here. So yeah, if you're shooting something and you need this fast, this thing is a little bit slow. Also has right here for your eyeglasses in case you need it. A few other aerodynamical things about both of those things. The screen itself. Let's check it out. You move it like this, and you know what this is? Right there. When you put your hand over it, all of this is going to go black. And it's going to go black because of one reason. The reason for it is just simple. If you're going to be using this AV filter inside, this is what's going to keep everything dark. This one doesn't even have it. Where is it? I have no idea. Oh, there it is, right there. It's built right into the screen itself. See? Automatically. Put something over here. This could get annoying, by the way, in case you don't actually use this feature for the purpose. You want to keep looking here and you accidentally just move your finger right there and it goes blank right there. Well, Canon has just as annoying, same feature. Useful, yeah, but where is it? Where is it? It's not there. It's right here. It's actually built right here. Well, that's kind of cool. Now, next feature that we are talking about here is the screens themselves. Easily to use. Just pop it in and use it. Right there. The same screen. No difference. Just a little bit small. In fact, talking about small size, the screen itself here is way bigger than in this one. Just a little bit bigger, but it might make the biggest difference. And the best thing about it, it doesn't say Canon on it. Why would you do this, Sony? It wrote Sony on it backwards right on there. In this specific variation of this camera, it should be out of there. There should be nothing that says Sony right in here. It is just stupid. Okay, looking at the back construction, they both are the same. There is nothing here that makes this weather sealed or weatherproof or whatever. They're not. Both of them are not. But one thing for you to keep in mind, this one moves just like that. This one, nope. It doesn't move like that. Not when it is in this form. So in this form, you can definitely move the Canon like this, in case you need to. But the Sony refusing for this to move unless you pop the screen up. You gotta pop the screen up first, then you can move it out of there. Not sure why this feature is like that. You can't actually put it out like this, not from here anyways. If you wanted to move it out, you have to use your finger right here and to move it up right there. There we go. Now I moved it up. I'm not sure why it actually does that, but with the Canon you can move it any direction you want. From here, nothing sticks it right in here, just like the Sony does. So that's a few things about this, but I did want you to look at this in case this is a big deal breaker for you. Now in terms of the buttons over here, there is only a little bit of grip right here, and that's the only grip you're gonna get. In the Sony, for something that you're paying twice as much, I would expect this to be the whole camera full of it. One thing I dislike about the Sony is that the record button is hidden all the way here. It's so hard for you to find it. The Canon makes it a little bit easy for you to find here. Another thing is, it's pretty hard for you to get everything to work. Everything is inside the menu. You have to find and search for it. On the other hand, this one is just easy. Everything is just right there, ready for you to use and get started to use it with. One thing I don't like about this is that look how slim this is. Look how this thing goes. Nothing in the front. Absolutely nothing. Nothing sticks out. On the other hand, with the Canon, we have a few things sticking out here. We have the flash, we have the flash button, and we have this sticking out right in the front as well. If you're looking at it, you can see it's sticking out. So, but for twice as much money, you're getting a great camera over here. So paying $1,300 versus $800 difference, I really am finding hard to justify for you getting this one, whereas this one offers almost everything, and it gives it in such a small, slimmer package. The best thing about this is 1.8 to 2.8, and this one is 2.8 to 4.5. In fact, they're totally different cameras. They look very similar, but they're trying to capture different kind of markets. This is more really for photography. Video camera build is in second. This one is built really as a video camera. like a miniature video camera. That's what really it's about. It is less about taking pictures. Interestingly enough, I find this as a video camera is much more capable than this one. Not because it is more capable, but because it is just much more easy for me to use. And I don't have to go and play with all the settings just to get my video shot and done. I can just go ahead and get everything to work right out of the box by just pressing the video record button. It is unsophisticated, and I just have to move it to video and press on video record, and that's about it. It is like that simple. On the Sony, we gotta find the mode to record, and we have the HDR, which is the 4K mode right here. Doesn't explain to you that it is the 4K. You can put and find other different modes. It doesn't matter which mode you put this in. Most likely you'll be putting it on the auto mode, and then you press on record right here. And yes, this camera is way more sophisticated. You have a lot more things packed into such a small miniature camera, and yet this is kind of bigger, but it's much more simple to use. But if size doesn't matter, this is a little bigger and gives you almost everything this camera does give you, and yet it is much more easier, and I think better and more solidly built, in my opinion, in terms of value and everything else. So Sony, get a few hints from Canon. Canon is doing something right, and you're still doing the same old thing here. And I think in the next version of this camera, it's gonna get even and even better. And you can see which one I'm hinting is the better buy over here. A few other things I want to show you over here is actually the screen itself. So the screen itself is sophisticated, and yet, so if you're gonna actually be focusing on something, you can see it right here. But you have all those busy things that are all over the place, and half of them you don't know what they're actually doing. Also, the battery life in this is just terrible. Not only it sucks a lot of batteries, and specifically because of the video function, it also eats them up like anything. I have never seen something that is so power angry and so power consuming when it comes to battery power. The sad thing is, not only that it consumes a lot of battery power, you also have to charge this. And unfortunately, you have to use this to charge your camera because it doesn't come with a charger for the wall. So this is an extra thing that Sony is trying to milk you. And on the other hand, the Canon does not. It comes with a charger right in it. So you don't have to do that. The big difference between them is how this is much more simple as well. So the screen itself here doesn't have all those weird things that are in the Sony. But on the other hand, if you want to set everything up, you just press on it, and it is easy for you to use. And the menu itself is much less sophisticated, and it is very self-explanatory over here, which is just the shooting mode, watching the images, fixing things, and this is about it. And then it goes through different cycles of the menu, and everything is on touch screen. So that's the great thing about the Canon. On the other hand, with the Sony, turn this on, and you have to go through a lot of menu here. Very sophisticated, by the way. Not touchscreen friendly at all. It's not moving. Nope. And even in this version, you still have to use the wheel in order for you to move things all around. Although we do have some touchscreen sensitivity in this, it's still not good. So you can still press on this in case you want to focus on something, which is good. Once you take the picture right now, you can go ahead, press on this, preview it, and then you can attempt, or here we go, you can kind of attempt to use this a little bit. Now, one thing I do like about this, and I'll show you in a second, is the possibility for you to do very nice movies. So let's go and look at the movies. And the 4K movies in here are amazing. So when you go ahead and you capture something, press on play, you can do a slow motion picture of something that you captured, and it is moving right there. So that's actually kind of cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't capture the sound at all. So here is another movie right there that I captured, and this is super slow motion, and you can see the park over there is going to go ahead and capture something right from the air, and it actually slows it down. This is probably the best feature of this camera that you can actually do, and you can see how slowly everything moves, like super slow. And there we go, he just captured and ate something, and you couldn't see this with the naked eye. You have to have a video camera for you to do this. Unfortunately, this is not ready for prime time. Every single camera, I was wishing they would fix this feature, and they never do. So what is the biggest problem with this is simply how it's not ready for it. So HFR, you put it right in here. Next thing you have to do, you have to get this ready for it to be shot. So you have to actually press on this button right here first, and then you can press on right there, recording, with the movie button, and it's going to buffer and it's going to start recording it, and then it's going to record it right there. And you can't even cancel this right here once you start, so you have to turn this off. But pretty much this is very sophisticated, but if you just press on record, you just go to this menu, it's not gonna work, which is a bummer. You have to always press this first, get it to prepare, get this to get to standby, and then to press on record. And that's actually a few extra buttons you have to press, and you're gonna be missing out a scene every single time, unless you totally remember this and you go through this every single time. This is super annoying, and I wish they didn't have this. And look how many busy things are available in the menu itself. Getting out of those menus, this is like a zoo all in itself. So many different features everywhere. I like it, and yet the battery is dead. Thank you so much for getting all the way to the end of this video, and the verdict is in. Which is the winner and which is the loser? Whoops, I think I got them all ordered in the wrong area. Anyways, the Sony in itself, I would think that this actually gets me, in terms of price, this is a 5. In terms of value for your money as well, this is a 9 when it comes to price and the value for your money. I'm not sure what this is, and I don't like it. There was something sounding in here. Maybe I got a defective copy. It does work, but in terms of sophistication, this has nothing. Look, you shake it, you don't hear anything. Yet, this one right here, everything about this, this is a good camera. Don't get me wrong, it's just too much sophistication for me. I like to go ahead and start doing videos, pictures right away. I'm not here to play with the controls and everything else. Although it sounds like this is the fun thing that is all about photography, figure out the controls, menus, and everything else in here. No, this is not what I want to do. What I want to do is something, as I get right out of the box, I want to turn it on and start to take pictures and get my work done. Primarily, a lot of my work is about taking pictures. The second part is making videos. And because of that, I need something that gets the job done right away, without needing to go through a whole learning curve trying to figure out where everything in the menu is and everything else. So in that terms, the Canon is the actual winner. It doesn't have any of those problems built inside of it, and it gives me an ability to take pictures right away. But if only this sound was not there. I don't know, maybe I got a defective copy. But other than that, this is a great camera. Ergonomic wise, it gets me the job done. It will take the pictures for me. And the best thing about this camera, the Canon, is that it doesn't eat up the batteries as crazy as the Sony in itself. So overall, I declare this the winner. This is the winner in my book. And if you had to choose between both of those, don't go ahead and buy the most expensive camera. Go ahead and buy the one that is most useful for what you're doing, and save a bunch of bucks in the process as well. And that in mind, the Canon G5X II is the winner.